as a little bit dirty,
Mm-hmm.
naughty, unclean. I was watching a talk show, and a woman had come on, and she was talking about yoni eggs, and she had brought a selection with her in a basket to show the host.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also, and of course the audience is going, ooh, ah, oh my God. And the host was also super surprised, like, what are you talking about? And and she was also actually had some inside of her at the
Uh-huh.
time.
Uh-huh.
And so the whole presentation, though, although it was informative a little bit, or at least it was exposing that there is something like this out there,
Mm-hmm.
it still spoke to our society's views of this is naughty, because everybody was
Yeah.
giggling and laughing and like, oh, what are you doing? You have something inside you right now while we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And she was also giggling at the time, she just, I think, was being very provocative about it.
Yeah.
And I just,
Hmm.
I was glad for the exposure, but I just wish we could like reach out to more women and let them know that this is not something sexual in a naughty way. It's not something you do to turn your partner on. And I think a lot of women were just
Mm.
programmed to do things in order to turn our partners on. And this yoni egg practice has nothing to do with the partner at all. It's
Yeah.
just a relationship with you and your yoni and your higher self. So,
Oh, oh, I love that. Yeah, it really, really is. And it's interesting. I just did a monologue, before this interview where I was kind of talking about, like you said, the kind of history of sexuality in general. And I wrote a post in particular, about the history of female sexuality. And then I interviewed someone, and she said, modern day culture is relatively open, sexually.
mhm.
We have certain freedoms living in the U.S. in regards to our sexuality, and it kind of made me like backtrack at least just a little bit and be like, okay, if I were to be living in Saudi Arabia or
Right.
some other place, I would
Maybe.
be in a way worse situation than I am now. But of course, that doesn't mean that we don't have work to do. So,
Right. Because when we think back through history, I mean, we're talking a long time ago in ancient cultures. That's when the female was, their sexuality was worshipped. But as soon as I think when religions came along,
yeah,
our modern history is what I consider that, which still goes back, at least few thousand or a few hundred to thousand years, we're talking, or
mhm,
actually a couple thousand, wouldn't it be?
yeah,
that
yeah,
that we have turned it around and it has become something that
yes,
society sees now, but we have come away from that now. So I can see, like, in a modern history, in our modern society, yeah, I think we are a little more open than some countries, but not as open as other countries. And we're definitely not where we should be, where we need to be.
agreed, agreed. Yeah, and I would love to hear from you. What did you learn in working with me that surprised you?
What surprised me? I think we have to go back to my inability to express my anger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the thing that was surprised about was not that I couldn't express my anger. I am not one of those people who can't just tell someone I'm mad. I can. Um, but I was doing it in a way where I would first reflect on it, and I would rationalize and make myself calm down. And then I could approach a person and let them know, I'm angry about this or that or something. But that could take me anywhere from a few hours to a few days to a week and something like that. And when you put in front of me an exercise to express anger, and I wasn't angry at the time, I
Mm-hmm.
simply couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I sat there and I tried. Do you remember? I
Of
tried.
course.
I couldn't even make myself do it, even to the point where I thought, if I was an actress, trying to perform something, at least give me something. And nothing would come
Nothing
out.
come up. Yeah.
And that was a problem for me. That right there, that not that I couldn't express anger so much, but I couldn't make myself do it.
Right.
And what we discovered, I mean, that was, I think, the starting point for you, recognizing where I was being inhibited.
Yeah.
And I realized that, in my mind, I thought I was able to express anger because I can definitely, when I'm in the emotion, I can fly off the handle. I can really go for it, but it was more of an uncontrolled type of rant.
Exactly.
Where it was just bubbling and bursting out of me without control. It was almost involuntary. And that's the kind of anger I was used to expressing on the fly. And the other type of anger I was used to expressing was after I had calmed down, after I had rationalized the whole situation, and then being able to speak calmly to the other person, which I'm not saying is bad. I know we all need to do that. Mm-hmm. But what you were trying to get me to do was just let it flow, let it go, let it go, let it go, just letting the energy flow through me. And I couldn't do it. I was just locked right there in the throat. Nothing came out. After a while, not even a sound, nothing would come out. So the surprise was, I guess, I kind of knew that about me. I guess I am a bit of a quiet person and reserved. And, I grew up being very shy. So I guess that didn't surprise me. But towards the end of our sessions, I was able, you finally did get me to a point, and it wasn't where you forced me to do anything, but it was just acknowledging that I myself was blocking it. I was blocking it. And
you were standing in your own way. Yeah.
I was standing in my own way, and I said, no, I'm not. I'm not doing anything to block this. There's just nothing there to come out. And so, surprise, surprise, actually, at the end, I really could get it to flow. And I could, even though I was not in that emotion, I was not angry at the time, I was able to really get that to flow. And so
amazing.
I think that was the most amazing experience, really.
So do you feel like that was your biggest takeaway from our sessions, or is there something else?
I guess my biggest takeaway would be to not underestimate the power of connecting to your sexuality, to your femininity. Mm-hmm. So it was a bit broader than just being able to express that anger. It was an underlying thing. So being able to connect to that sexuality for me did empower me to do many other things besides just expressing my anger. So, not only are we creating a healthier and more powerful and balanced person, you have a lot of fun doing it too. And I think, and also just like no partner needed. This is something that's very personal. It has nothing to do with another person giving you those pleasures, but it would definitely benefit a partner. So if you are in a relationship, you working on yourself is absolutely going to benefit the other person in your partnership. And so I think that was the biggest takeaway.
Wow. You hit the nail on the head, Joy. Amazing. Yeah. So just to let our listeners know, Joy is going to be soon starting ZenMoms. She's working towards that. So if any of you are listening and are working moms who are trying to juggle everything in their life and also find some equilibrium and inner peace, then you should definitely contact Joy. Maybe, Joy, you can tell listeners how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, sure. Instagram is the social media platform that I use and prefer. And my handle on Instagram is my name, Joy_Millea, Millea. And you can message me through there. And I am just now developing that program for ZenMoms. And so you can message me there for more information. I'm really excited to get that started because I think that this topic is definitely something that we're going to be including in this program. So
yes,
it's something that every woman needs to know.
Yeah, I'd love that. Joy, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me.
Oh my gosh, my
Yeah.
pleasure. My pleasure
Yeah.
and honor.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Naomi.
My
Yeah,
pleasure.
you're
And
welcome.
thanks everybody for taking the time to be with us on Divine Couples. Feel free to check us out at www.divine-couples.com, and our social media page on Instagram is at divine.couples, adding intimacy, passion, and healing to your lives. If you have questions or comments, feel free to send me an email at info@divine-couples.com. Thank you so much for joining us. I am your host, Naomi Slater.